자력으로 1등 진출은 힘든 것 같아서 다른 팀이 잘해주길 바라고 있고 저희가 부진할 때 계속 응원해 주셔서 지금 이 실력이 나오는 것 같고 앞으로도 꼭 실력 올려서 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 노력하겠습니다.
저희가 연패를 많이 했는데 1승이 어렵지 그 다음은 이제 저는 할만하다고 생각하고 저는 승강전 갈 생각 이미 했기 때문에 그 밑에 하위권 4개 팀을 다 끌어 내려가지고 재밌게 가겠습니다.
Welcome back, guys. We're here at the LCK. Just a 20-minute break. Wasn't so bad. We're right back here in the action. Is going to be Kingzone up against BBQ. Now, as our title did mention, they're standing on exact opposite sides. Kingzone looking to get the best spot they can in the playoffs, as high as they possibly can. Whereas BBQ, they're pretty much already in promotions. Not much they can do. I think even if they 2-0'd both of the teams they have left, they're still in promotions. And so they're going to look to drag down Kingzone with them.
And Trick was clearly aware of that, saying, look, we expected the promotions. We've been through that losing streak for quite a while. So well aware that this was the likely result. They would be in relegations, but we've seen teams drag playoff hopefuls down before, as recently as Jin Air Green Wings last season, who were able to drag down the Rocks Tigers, now Hanwha Life. Hanwha Life dealt not a mortal blow, but a strong blow to a Freak of Freaks. Going to be all about game score and other implications in future matches. In this matchup, it's all about Kingzone, currently in 4th. They just want to win 2-0 as cleanly as possible, pack up, and then watch how the other teams in the top 4 go in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, as we always say here. It's very competitive in LCK. Kingzone, in order to remove any kind of luck involvement from other teams doing so bad, we... that guy just sprinted by, not sure what was going on there. He had places to go. But yeah, they just want to get a 2-0. They want to get into the highest spot possible and then just sit back and wait, because everybody at the top, Griffin, Kingzone, KT, and Gen.G, those 4 teams are the favorites. You know, Hanwha Life or FLICKR, whoever makes it through, they're not necessarily the favorite to go through and make it through. So Kingzone just wants to get ahead of those other 4 top teams.
All the teams in the top 4 have schedules they should win. That's how it looks like. They are favorites in every match they play. If all those teams win, right now Gen.G only winning 2-1 yesterday is really all Kingzone can prosper against. They can reach 3rd by just doing better than Gen.G does in the run-in. When it comes to head-to-head, they don't actually own the head-to-head over Gen.G. Gen.G 2-0'd Kingzone, but they do own the head-to-head over KT. That might be relevant, it might not. KT roster could be first, but if they drop down, if they lose a match, anything's possible.
Certainly true. So let's introduce our teams. Kingzone, DragonX going to be on the left side here, starting on the blue. And they will be playing Peanut today because everything is on the line, because was always the guy to come in and just replace if things were going wrong, if Peanut was having trouble, if they wanted to mix it up as well, you know, cause a little bit less aggressive, a little bit less crazy. We'll see what happens, you know, if BBQ took game number 1, what would they do in terms of the lineup? Maybe send Khan packing, bring Rascal back, maybe Cuz makes his way back in, but for now it's going to be the main 5 members of the roster.
I think Khan is definitely the first one out the door, just because when it comes to players, he's a little bit more up and down in terms of form, a little bit more up and down in terms of mentality. Obviously had his famous blow-ups in solo queue, and it makes sense to have Rascal come in as a pretty stable replacement. Maybe that helps the overall comms later into a series. I feel like Rascal is kind of a hidden strength for Kingzone in best of 5s, because I think that's where you're likely to use him. But Khan's your starter, Peanut certainly is your starter, and BBQ, definitely a mountain to climb to have any game wins in this series.
Well, their motto is, we fry the game. They've certainly fried summer, or at least their chances of not making it to relegations, as they're in. They will have to go up against a couple of strong challenger teams alongside perhaps Jin Air, unless Jin Air wants to have a miracle run and MVP wants to have not so good of a run. And they're just playing to knock out Kingzone, essentially. They can't knock them out of playoffs, but they can knock them down a few rungs, gain some confidence before relegations, and also to bring fried chicken to everybody here in the studio.
Nothing to lose is important because these are 5 players with talent. Their mid laner, Temp, someone we've praised many times, Trick and Ignar, have had big plaudits on teams in the past. They have match winners, and even game victories can be so important. Gen.G dropping a game to Jinair and almost a set to Jinair did really put a bit of a knife into their hopes of finishing in the top 1 or the top 2, of skipping all the way to the semi-final or the final. BBQ, let's see if they can just lead a charmed life and upset Kingzone, a team that has been ripe for the upset at different times in the season.
CLG, Prey, and Gorilla, please. Juseo, which is give it to me. Shouting out Offline TV as well. Hey, you never know. Just like the New York Lottery. Anything is possible. And well, we'll have to wait at least until the end of this season to make that happen. But as of right now, I'm sure that Prey and Gorilla are just fine to stick around here on Kingzone as they have playoffs and potentially Worlds to play at.
And one of the few times that BBQ Olivers have upset Kingzone was that first round robin game in spring. That was the season where actually Kingzone only lost 2 series. One in the first to KSV, and then to BBQ Olivers in the first round robin. They swept the second round robin. And while it hasn't been as clean for Kingzone, they had that very small hangover after Rift Rivals, the loss to Rogue Warriors, of course, very famous. A couple of series lost, but then they played themselves into form. They beat KT, they beat FLICKR. That's why they are once again in the top 4 consideration. They're not the top 1 anymore. There is no more breathing room between Kingzone and the rest of the pack. But First Bloods at first place. Pretty impressive for a squad that hasn't even had a consistent jungler the entire season.
Yeah, the numbers are all good here, and I like what you were saying about, you know, first place in spring, a big gap between everybody else. Kingzone took a small step back, I'd say, and then Griffin stepped up, KT stepped up, and Gen.G stepped up. FLICKR, yes, they've fallen down a few rungs, but all the other teams around them have got even stronger and even more consistent. So, again, Kingzone, they have to win this one.
BBQ Olivers, the 2 stats on the right there, trying to show you how different things were. They were 0 and 9 in the first round robin. 2 and 5 doesn't sound amazing, but to know they were 2 and 5 and also went to 3 games 3 times lets you know they've been competitive in at least 5 of the matches they've played out of the 9 in the second round robin. They still have 2 to play. It is a big rise for a team that was basically a free 2-0 win in the first round robin.
And you look at the numbers and you see, hey, they're in 9th in KDA and 9th in average kills. That means that someone else is below them, even though they have the worst score.
Well, you know who has someone, who's someone who has a lot of people below them? It's BDD in the mid lane. Because in his most recent series, to say he popped off in that last series would be an understatement. Absolute obliteration from Kingzone DragonX's mid laner. In the series against Hanwha Life, they did lose game number 1, but then went 9-1-1 and 9-0-0 in the remaining 2 games. Had a bit of indifferent form, like the rest of his team after Rift Rivals, but he's been biding his time. The Azir is back, the Orianna is back. Most of its champion pool is in the meta, and BDD is looking to take down some fools, and he's got 20 different picks he can bring out on his day.
Yeah, in spring and in splits past, that was always Kuro. That was the number 1 in most champions picked, but now it's BDD. He's taken the top spot. FLICKR also up there on the list, but he'll have to come back and play some of those champions, perhaps in the World's Gauntlet, if Hanwha Life doesn't make it to 4th place. Let's take a look at the highlight matchup here. Peanut versus Trick. Definitely Peanut has had some struggles along the way. He's not, flawlessing and bufflessing people anymore, but he's still a really good jungle, whereas Trick trying so hard as the EU import to carry his team.
But it was easiest to talk about who the best junglers were in the world for the last 3 years. You said Peanut, Score in some order. I don't think Peanut and Score are the 2 best junglers in the LCK right now, and Peanut is the one who's had the most stumblings. The Zac being back, some of the other junglers being back, does play into his hand. So he can once again firm on that reputation. BBQ fan in the audience, but BDD, will he just have another day out and deny a possible victory from BBQ?
Yeah, again, you know, they do have to try their hearts out here as well. Kingzone, they're not going to get overconfident and just fall over and lose a quick game to BBQ. So let's see exactly what they want to pull out here, jumping into pick and ban for game 1.
They're siding of Kingzone for a little while here. They've been biding their time while all the qualifications for playoffs have been cemented. 2 support bans already. Ignar drawing a lot of respect from Kingzone DragonX on the blue side.
So funny how Aatrox gets banned every game. Nobody even tries to let it through. I remember spring 2017. That's a energetic fan right there. Spring 2017, LeBlanc was just perma-banned all the time alongside other picks.
I feel like the cameraman has
still
found a
going
favorite.
on. Yeah. Now it's Prey's turn. Go Prey. He's not going to do it. He can't hear me.
The Rise ban already is a digression from BBQ. Talia is still expected to be the last ban, but maybe BBQ will leave it open. Will be snapped up by Kingzone as BDD is a monster on Talia, and Peanut can also play it. There will be the Talia ban. I've seen Shen thrown into the red side ban, Swain in the past, but it's Kingzone, so Tom Kench is 100% the first pick.
You got to do what you got to do. Tom Kench is just too strong right now. Stronger than anything else. We see a lot of Varus, Trundle, Zoe from time to time, but, well, Varus Trundle definitely a very strong red side first couple of picks to go into this one.
With tier list so far in the LCK, Tom Kench has jumped above Trundle. As a first pick, Peanut actually hasn't been preferring the Trundle. In the first round robin, he went hunting with the Nidalee in this jungle matchup. Love to see him return to a pick like that. Right now, flashing through all the champions. Kingzone have already played a lot of weird stuff. See how weird they're willing to get the Gragas to one. They're hovering on the Gragas versus Trundle. Seems to be the new jungle matchup, and it will be the Gragas after all.
Yeah. There's a thing about, you know, when it matters, right? We don't see the crazy picks that come out. We see very much serious pick and ban from the side of Kingzone. Just the Gragas. We saw him nodding his head at the Jungle Quinn. I was also nodding my head at that one.
It's Ashe time as well. Ruler is in the back. Definitely nodding his head at the Ashe priority. It's only Prey's second game on Ashe, but he is the most famous Ashe player of all time, so it's super hype to see him jump onto his Ashe. 2 arrows will be remembered forever in highlight clips in 2016, one at Worlds and one before Worlds. Wonderful Ashe player, but a wonderful Azir player is Tempt. BDD won't be picking up this time as we're having a bit of biffo in the crowd. A lot of infighting going on between our audiences, but the Azir picked up and could be some Azir coverage bans by BBQ.
They don't have as much spunk as the first one did. They were saying, hey, come look at us, and Prey is great. This says he is a beautiful man, is the literal translation of that last sign.
I hard agree.
Now we just need FLICKR to agree, and then everything makes sense.
Hey, FLICKR
Prey
said
is still
thank
waiting
you.
for him.
He said thank you about Prey's. You're still my number one. Oh, what a great interview that was. Ooh, a respect ban on BDD's Shurima opponent for the Azir, taking away the Xerath.
She came from Daegu. It's really hot in Daegu. It's known as one of the hottest places in Korea. I mean, in temperature. And she came all the way to watch Khan. So she came to the right place. Khan is playing tonight.
Khan is a Jeju native, not from Daegu, but clearly a favorite of that Daegu fan. Now going to be banned away for a ultra comfort pick crazy. His last comfort pick is the Cho'Gath, which could be considered. Cho'Gath might actually be contested in this series, Valdez. Both these top laners have been loving it recently.
A couple of the Chinese fans there rooting for Tempt and Ignar.
This is another pick that could be contested. The Jace priority has been up and down recently, but it seems like Crazy says, if I play Jace, Khan.
We were actually talking about this matchup before we went live today. Seems like one of the most one-sided matchups we've ever had in the top lane. Khan versus Crazy. What's worse, Khan versus Maha or Khan versus Crazy? That's the real question.
Well, if Crazy stays away from the Camille, maybe there's a chance for him, but Camille might actually be the top lane pick into this Jace. Super hyped to see. matchup where if you get the jungle coverage, you can just hookshot in all days. And Azir, the LeBlanc is one that BDD hasn't rolled out for a long time. This would be fun to see. Always loved skillful LeBlanc play, but seems like BDD might be going for one of his 9-kill champions. Right now hovering on the Aurelion Sol, and he will take it into the Azir.
Well, he wanted to hover his 21st pick, potential pick at least, in the LeBlanc. Decides against it. He did stuff like this, as you guys can see in the replay. He's pretty damn good.
He was 9-0-0. No assists or deaths necessary. Dominating performance in game number 3. And now the problem for the Jace is that we already know that Khan is going to want to hook shot in, and then you have to believe that the big dragon and the fat man will be following in to provide some threat. And if they lose vision control topside, that's going to be desperately poor for BBQ. If you're Kingzone, put all that together, don't you expect BBQ to try to set up vertical jungling to try to find some safety in vision, and also their jungler being topside to deny everyone on Kingzone packing top lane and just allowing Camille a really big lead?
It's definitely one way to do it. One thing I noticed in the spick ban was that Shen actually fell all the way through. No ban, no pick.
Oh, look at this. Adjustment. It's actually going to be Gragas top after all. Going to try to just survive in the lane. The Gragas matchup is a bit like the Maokai matchup, where Jace will walk up for turret shots, and then you can always body slam flash on top of him and cast him into turret range when your jungler comes. But it's not going to be necessarily the fiery matchup. Jace, a lot more about containment when the Gragas is involved in top.
Very interesting. Khan letting Peanut jump onto the carry, in a way. The Camille, I suppose, can do a little bit of better fighting in terms of damage alongside of Aurelion Sol, when you consider that. Has, really good range on his ganks with the hook shot as well, even without flash.
We'll talk about the trade-offs here. Do remember the last time we saw Khan's Gragas, and the main reason we weren't believing it, he set up an enemy instant quadra kill with his cast onto the Galio in the 2v4 just a few weeks ago. Wasn't the greatest sign. That was in Kingzone's losing streak. Gotta hope those Gragas ults are a little bit more on point.
Well, what better way to get him more confident on the pick than to play him against BBQ, play him up against Crazy, give him a shot to build up his confidence again. I like it. Let's get into it, guys. Countdown has started. Game number 1 will start right now. BBQ fans out here in full force. I was thinking about grabbing some of the chicken today, but actually we bought some nice food instead.
Well, Temp just was able to grab a chicken anyway, jumping on the Azir in the mid lane. Punishing matchup for BDD, but he can just go for the multiple shopping trips that the Aurelion Sol is known for. Liking the full zoom here from the SPO TV Observer. Fun matchup, BDD versus Tempt. Both these guys have plenty of talent when it comes to mid lane play. BBQ unfortunately not been able to get the match victories, and Tempt started the season on the wane, but Azir coming back into the meta has been very kind to him because he is a fantastic Azir player in his own right.
Still just waiting for the Corki Papa. Haven't gotten the casted just yet. I'm a little bit disappointed. We're here at match 84 now. The last regular season day I have is on Tuesday. Then we only have the couple of playoffs days to cast over here at SPO before we hand it over to the semifinals over to GN. Hoping a Corki gets played before the end of my reign here at LCK this year.
Well, I know you were in chat where Atlas and I hung back. We know that you are, in fact, the complete brains trust on Corki's passive. You know all about his big package, so we left it to you. Do with it as you will.
Yeah, thank you for that. Just recognizing who understands Corki the most.
Well, I want to understand Aurelion Sol more and more because we're getting a bit more Aurelion Sol play, a bit more reliably. Given that Peanut has kind of been up and down in terms of his jungle performances, one of the best ways to buff it up is to have Camille have an Aurelion Sol to follow him, and just intense jungle presence being provided by Camille Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol makes every single jungler an S-tier ganker, and Camille doesn't need too much help. So I'm looking forward to seeing BDD and Peanut combine on one of those side lane ganks.
It was kind of funny to watch the top side as the accelerated shock blast was missed by Crazy. I can only imagine what Khan was thinking. Saying you took my Jace and you're going to play it like that? Are you kidding me? Red buff here on the Camille, thinking about a top side play, but Crazy
wants to ward this.
He's going to eat a lot of damage as, well, here comes the stun. Just going to knock him away. Sweeper will get him. There's the damage, but no summoner flash blown.
Trick is shadowing Peanut. Hookshot's still on cooldown.
Yeah, waiting on that one. It's going to come up right now. He's just going to hookshot away. Says, no thank you. I will not buy whatever you're selling, Trundle.
Can't trade with the Q there. Would have lost that trade even though he clearly understood that. Just wanted to give up on any hopes of picking up a kill. Let's see how much AP Khan builds. Because again, in solo queue, a lot of the top lane Gragas players, I'm thinking back to Cuvée a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were playing quite a lot of AP on the Gragas, at least 2 AP items. When we've seen top lane Gragas in Korea, just been a lot of burping and a lot of tank items. So not going to be as hype in that way.
Too much burping, for sure.
This is the, I guess, soccer hooligan Gragas, as I think of it.
What is the name of this skin, do you know? Kind of looks like a Viking.
Look, I still don't know the name of Orin's items, so why would I know the name of this skin? It's got a bottle of, it's the bottle of Gatorade one. I'm pretty sure this is Sports Hooligan Gragas, according to me.
It might be. Khan, oh boy. First blood in the top side. Khan might just die anyway. He did have to use his flash.
Body slam, 3 seconds.
Okay, the TP gonna come in here, and we'll push him back, and well, that's just about how I expected this lane to go.
We did allude to the mismatch in talents of Khan and Crazy has had by far the most solo deaths in the LCK. You know, I don't even have that stat provided to me by Riot or by Spo TV, but I've watched all the games and seen him get solo killed a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely something to go back to the drawing board if BBQ make it back into LCK. You have to wonder what Crazy is thinking about. It's just a really good read by Khan, though, too. Just to know that Crazy's going to be backing in that specific brush after getting him really low.
Oh. Struggle Street already for the Jace, going down once for the solo kill. Unfortunate. Couldn't get the punishment there. I wonder if Trick should have just gone Super Rambo and tried to get the kill, because someone actually finishes the teleport. It's such a waste of time. In the end, don't see it. BDD just going to control the scuttle for his jungler there. Reminds me of when Peanut joined the team and BDD renamed himself Ward of Peanut 1. I believe Khan was Ward of Peanut 2. In that time, they've become LCK champions, but of course fell down at MSI. So being a Ward of Peanut, kind of 1-on-1 at the moment.
Yeah, 15-15 in tennis terms. It is just called 1-to-1 in football, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, Khan has a lot of items, and Crazy doesn't have his flash anymore. Trick is here, though. Is it the bait? Is it the 400 IQ bait here from Crazy? He got the kill, too. Unbelievable. What a play.
Solo-ish kill onto the Jace.
What an outplay.
Speaking of outplays.
Well, there's the flash on in. You're going to be eaten for breakfast here in the early game by Gorilla, who he's looking for another kill. Peanut's here. He's going to tank this one up. Should be easy peasy. There it is. Double kill goes over to Prey. And there you have it. Kingzone striking back.
Nicely done by Kingzone on the bottom side of the map. This has also been a lane that's gone pretty hairy for BBQ in the past against Kingzone. Do remember Prey's famous 1v2 kill in the BBQ versus Kingzone match in the second round robin of last season. We're going to watch the replay of this one. Khan hits level 6 and throws his ultimate in instantly. We didn't catch that at the start of this play, but I saw the ult have been used. Goes for the kill. Isn't able to get it. Jay still has his flash up. They're able to actually pick this one up after Trundle rolls it.
Trick, he knows what he's got to do. He's got to make it 2 versus 1 up in the top side. We'll see how this fight started, too.
I actually like to see Kingzone opt into a lot of aggression against BBQ. again, the thing that's become pretty clear about Kingzone DragonX when they go international and play Chinese teams, and honestly most of these top other teams, is those teams come from regions with more early aggression, and Kingzone were used to just controlling the game and playing at their own pace. Whenever Kingzone actually gets out of their comfort zone, it may only be BBQ, but it has to be valuable practice, because usually Kingzone just play the measured games and don't get into these 4-kill early game brawl fests that seem to happen only when they play against BBQ.
We saw the trade in the bottom side, just not really respecting the Tahm Kench, and the perfect lick on Tavares, actually. Ignara not able to block that one. That's what got it all started. And cool. Gorilla, he's, you could say he's pretty good. 8-2 on the Tahm Kench. 80% win rate so far out of 10 games. He knows when to go in.
I want to share something I saw on the LPL stream when it comes to Tahm Kench. Coolest thing I've seen recently is that Kahlua, one of the LPL supports, into the Shen matchup. So he was the Tahm Kench against the enemy Shen. Seeing a bit of trading happening here. They're going for the cask play.
Well, they got a Hexic ultimatum where that came from. As Crazy's going to go down again up in the top side.
Another kill, 5 and 8 minutes, good by Korean standards. Just to finish the point though, Kahlua went Hail of Blades Tahm Kench against Shen. So when the taunt comes out, you have enough attack speed to instantly eat the Shen and turn him around because you attack so fast in the taunt. It's actually really clever tech into the Shen matchup, so I'm hoping when we finally get Tahm Kench versus the Shen, we actually see that Hail of Blades from Kahlua.
Or from Gorilla. Could happen from him
it's
too.
Kahlua's thing, but yes,
yeah.
if it is Gorilla on the Tahm Kench in that match. We're gonna watch the replay. Moment the Peanut shows, if Khan hits the cask, he's gonna get a Jace. He got a Jace.
Yeah, Khan in the top side, by the way, he's not building too much AP, but he does have a Dark Seal. So he's building all that extra armor, the health as well, all the defensive items you need against Jace to just not get poked out, and also we'll be scaling a little bit with that Dark Seal.
This would be Prey's first victory with the Ashe. They do win this game. And 0-1 on the season hasn't been a priority for Kingzone as much as Varus Ezreal. Have you noticed that ever since Griffin dunked Ezreal twice with Teemo, no one wants to play Ezreal as much in the LCK, even though we have Ezreal legends like Deft and Prey. Bang, also legend of that Ezreal. More people trying the Ashe. Prey's accuracy with the Ashe arrow needs no introduction, but to me, you're only as good as the last Ashe arrow, so I'm waiting to see some cross-map plays.
You get an arrow onto Crazy here. I'm sure that would drive the Kingzone fans crazy. As, well, everybody likes to pick on Crazy up in the top side. I just remember that one time he played the Camille, I think it was in spring, where he went like 1v2 and he just one-shot someone. He was really bad and everybody was saying, wow, his Camille is crazy. And
then he played Camille this season.
You were talking about how it's, you know, the last time you play a certain thing, your last ultimate, whatever you have. I guess that's kind of the last thing that remains in people's minds when they think of Crazy's Camille. But I was actually thinking about a good play that he made.
Crazy was definitely a player that was hyped. I remember at the start of 2017 spring, the off-season word. That was when, of course, all the legends came back to Korea. With Deft, Mata, and friends all returning. People were like, you're sleeping on Crazy. This guy is a monster in lane. And he was doing so well in scrims. He played pretty well. And his laning phase has always been his strength. But unfortunately now, you know, 4 splits later, his laning phase has actually been really weak. By far, worst performing top laner in Korea this split. Want to see if he can actually bait in for the Trundle here, but I don't think Gragas going to bite this time.
Well, how about a 4-man gank onto the Azir? That would be nice. Stun is going to miss, though. So BDD will just back away, push the lane for now, and Peanut's just going to give up on that one.
Gragas coming back in. Bit of CDR, Ninja Tabi. He's got a 14 CS lead over Jace, so this seems to be an NAJ situation from BBQ. Prey just farming up in the bot side. They're winning in CS in all 3 lanes, so that's unfortunately the Kingzone versus BBQ reality.
I'm looking at my stats, and I think this is actually Crazy's first game on the Jace.
It's a big pick for him in the past, but this season he's been moving away from it. I think when you're low on confidence, Jace is usually a tricky one to pull off, and this was probably a takeaway Jace pick.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. I'm just waiting for BDD to have another big moment here. And, well, speaking of which, the Emperor's Divide is not going to be able to push him away from that one. And there's going to be BDD's first kill on the Rift.
Very nice timing on the Hextech Ultimatum there. Got it over the wall. Very nicely done. Kingzone will be able to get a lot of turret damage here. Trundle can walk up, but how much can he really do to dissuade? He can annoy BDD, who doesn't want to take turret action.
Well, here's Tom Kent, Crazy making his way in. BDD surprisingly tanky, or is that just the Jace? Doesn't have any items yet. I would say it's a bit of both, as the Catalyst also completed here for BDD. That's going to be an early first turret in the mid lane already.
And watch the replay. Note the timing of the Hextech Ultimatum. Beautiful. Very nicely done from Peanut. They get the kill. BDD gets, I assume, some stacks. I didn't actually notice if he had a Dark Seal, but it is, of course, the Aurelion Soul, and there it is.
Yeah. Pops right over the wall. Looks like the arrow was used, and Ghost has flashed, so probably flashed away from an arrow.
Thank you to the SpoTV Observer for showing us what happened earlier.
The zoom in on Prey, too. He's like, by the way, he's playing Ashe. He's pretty good at that.
Walks up. They are taking Infernal Drake here. I want to see Kingzone keep up the pace. I want to see if Kingzone can actually obliterate BBQ. Not just, well, we had a good early game, so standard macro, 35 minutes later the game ends. Let's see if Kingzone can actually get down and dirty. That's harder. That's not the Kingzone way usually. They are a controlled aggression team. I would like to see them show some outright aggression, because that's something that might surprise a team in best of fives. And Kingzone right now seem likely to be playing multiple best of fives, not just waiting in a grand final.
Peanut has apparently ganked 5 times. He went bot once and top once. Mid lane also got a kill, so I suppose those are the 3 effective ganks. Not sure about the other 2. Remember, he was hanging around some lanes. I suppose those counted as ganks.
I also don't know what effective gank is. Maybe someone flashing is effective. It's not just did they get a kill or not.
Yeah, I guess a flash would be that. But we've had issues with that one stat in particular with SpoTV. They've done a lot of other great stuff, but that one kind of grinds my gears.
Peanut walking up, clearing out vision. Rift Herald will be a great way to speed up this game. I know that the duo lane was around topside. We know that Braum is recalled. Incomplete information to the side of Kingzone. Still, they have a lot of ways to increase the pace of the game. Everyone can initiate on the side of Kingzone, including Gorilla on this Tom Kent. They also have item leads, Infernal Drake 3,000 gold, so many different offensive options to Kingzone, and I'm just excited to see what they make of them. Hopefully, it keeps up the pace of the game.
Little thing there, it was interesting to see Gorilla, when they didn't know if anyone was hiding in the top lane brushes, he just stood right behind Prey just in case. He didn't move up to get the stacks on his Targons away. He just was in position for the perfect Devour just in case.
Smart use of the sweeper also in the foremost brush to set up for potential TP play. In hindsight, there is no TP on the side of BBQ, but still the fundamentals are useful.
Oh,
Peanut wants to kill Crazy.
The flash comes in, and he says, that's not going to be enough to get away from me. The Hextech Ultimatum not able to knock Peanut out either. And Khan is there for the alley-oop straight into Peanut. And down will go Crazy once again.
The Soccer Hooligan is beating out the Debonair Jace again and again. Kingzone take away the Scuttle as well. Camille and Gragas will combine for the bot lane turret. Easy peasy, says Kingzone DragonX, continuing to just make Crazy's life no fun. He's gone Black Cleavers, so it's not going to be the most burst build if he tries to team fight. It's more for the 1-for-1, and the 1-for-1 seems set up also for a loss.
Well, Prey able to spot them that time with the volley.
Doesn't technically know Ignar is there.
Well, he did hit 2 people. I think he did hit Ignar, so I think he should know. He was paying attention. Trick comes up too. Even without vision, though, Prey and Gorilla kind of feel like they're the lane that would be ganked the most out of all the lanes. And currently with Khan not in the lane, certainly is the case here.
Prey will just keep pushing. They haven't engineered a way to actually take this turret, so for now at least it's a bit negative gameplay from Kingzone in terms of finding a way to rotate to top side with the Aurelion Soul. 3 control wards top side do mean the Aurelion Soul is likely to be spotted on the way. But right now they just seem to be fully about shutting down Crazy with all this camp coming through from Peanut. Crazy started to fall pretty far behind. And with Iceborne Gauntlet and the right timings, maybe you can out-trade Crazy, as Khan, he is 2 levels up.
I like it, trying to bring back that top lane tank Gragas up against the Jace. It was interesting, you know, we were thinking about the Camille versus the Jace and the jungle Gragas just because jungle Gragas has been more of the norm nowadays, but so far from what we've seen, the tank Gragas, especially if you have a little bit of help from your jungle, just dunks on this Jace.
Don't know if you should lock that in on pro builds just yet, but it is a good pick.
Well,
it's traded.
Yeah, gonna devour him up here as Trick is pulling off the Sungwon. And Prey is gonna spot him here. The subjugate comes in and Trick decides, never mind.
The way the Gragas versus Jace matchup works, I mentioned it before, is kind of reminds you of Maokai versus Jace in the past, in that Gragas and Maokai can both reliably engage on Jace when she tries to get poke turret damage in. And so with the ganks, like you mentioned, damaged jungler does mean that Jace's life is a little bit frustrated. Prey walks up, trying to take down this turret against Ghost and Ignar, but until the Aurelion Soul fully commits, they're going to actually focus on the Rift Herald first here for Kingzone DragonX.
Peanut doesn't even have to flash here, or rather smite here, can just take that away. Khan waiting in the wings, trying to get his first gank onto the Azir. He'll be happy to take the trade up against Crazy though. There's the really nice cast to knock Crazy on in. He doesn't have his flash, and as easy as you'd like, once again, Crazy a little bit too far into the jungle is gonna be punished and die again.
His problem is he can't go to the minion wave. It's too far down bot lane. As you can see, he tried to kill the Gromp and then got turned on by the Gragas. So has to farm something. There's no point having a 0 CS Jace. He can't do anything there. So the zombie pushing time might start beginning for Crazy. Maybe his best play is to run down the lane and draw multiple members. But sadly, in the top side, with now the Rift Herald, that's going to be a negative tempo, even if it's outnumbered for BBQ on top side.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of BBQ having trouble against top teams, but for some reason, when Kingzone is playing well, they just seem to dumpster some of these bottom-level teams, and, well, it's happening again.
This is not a lull Crazy moment outside of probably should have swept the control ward rather than going for the Gromp, but he can't get to the minion wave. He has to kill something. He just says, I'm going to stay over here and be safe and kill the Gromp. Unfortunately, only fail is the control ward. Gives up the easy gank alley-oop to the Aurelion Soul and the Gragas.
Well, BBQ, if they were watching LCK earlier, they would know that it's only amazing drakes tonight. Only Infernals and Mountains. We had one Cloud earlier. That's it. Outside of that, it was all Infernals and Mountains, as it is burning hot here in Seoul. I suppose that's part of the reason.
Bad news, the Jace was three gold behind the Trundle jungle, which, wow. It's not what you picked the Jace for, to be less gold than a troll.
Who's really trolling in this game is the question.
Hey, Trundle top could be a thing for Crazy. I believe he could play it. His Trundle mechanics seem pretty good.
It's pretty good at level 1. He definitely needs some help early on in the game. Oh boy, there it is, Sniperino. Cask is going to be a little bit questionable, but it doesn't matter. Knocks him in straight into Prey and Gorilla. And now they're looking for just an ace. Only Crazy's not going to be here. 2 other members going to go down. Trick, no hope for him to go up against them. And BDD looking to dive into the main base. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want to bully them too hard.
Sometimes a plan comes together. Let's watch the replay and see if there was any chance that the Cask was intentionally paired with the Ash Arrow, because the end result, amusingly, what's going to be the death of multiple members of BBQ. They're going to take the Baron and some inner turret damage, because that's how Kingzone DragonX roll. We asked for a bit more aggression. At least we're getting it.
You know, when you get this far ahead, I suppose you got to do something with it. It's not like BBQ's not dying. They're certainly making a bunch of mistakes, being too far up the lane, and Kingzone are controlling the map just making quick work of BBQ so far.
So DragonX looking a bit indomitable. Let's watch the replay here and see if there's any chance this was intentional. Ash Arrow was shot very early. No, okay. That was just the Ash Arrow shooting out into a predictable path of someone.
Yeah.
The Gragas combos with it afterwards. So this ended up being a nice little alley-oop ended by Khan. I think the Rift Arrow has actually been held on to for quite a while here by Peanut. Does he still have it? He does. Are they going for the second team ever after their own team, Kingzone DragonX, to end the game with the Rift Herald? Remember, against Fnatic, they had the dancing Rift Herald. The Rift Herald does a dance if it actually gets onto the Nexus.
I've done it a couple of times in solo queue, and Peanut, he's going to be getting some question mark pings if he doesn't use it soon. Looks like he's going to use it down on the bottom right side. Looking to push that lane as it was about to expire.
Now can they get it? They can't get a perfect game, but a dancing Rift Herald is a very rare sight.
It's already taking a little bit of damage, has Shelly. I would recommend they all group up into the bottom lane if this is what they want.
Shelly's part of the team. Come on, Kingzone. Help her out.
Well, see, Kingzone, they have a lot to work on when it comes to dancing Rift Herald mechanics.
Closing out games mechanics, probably not going to be a problem for them. Earlier in the season with the Kindred Draft, with the awesome dudes in the bot lane, Kingzone had plenty of games stole out on them. It's all looking eerily like the old meta. And Kingzone DragonX, if memory serves, really good at the old meta.
Yeah. Well, Kingzone, I feel like halfway through a season when you're not really expecting to lose to BBQ, you're a little bit overconfident. You don't feel like there's that much on the line. Maybe you can lose a game or a series to BBQ, but when they know that their playoff spot is on the line, they want to get another solo queue on a Crazy, and it's going to be there. He predicts the flash too, gets him down. Meanwhile, another kill in the mid lane. This is just getting ugly, guys. It's the full-on bully here from Kingzone as they look to end the game in 25 minutes.
Simpsons meme has never been more true. He's already dead, Khan. Come on. What are you doing? Khan gets everything down, Crazy into the death chamber, and soon to be followed by BBQ Olivers.
Yeah, well, definitely for game 2, Kingzone get an extra ban against Jace because we're not going to be seeing it anymore from BBQ. That's what I would have to say in the rest of this series as well. The turrets are going to go down, and guys, that's going to be it for game number 1. As easy as you'd like, Kingzone going to crush the chickens tonight.
24-58 on the Nexus Explosion, one of the fastest games we've had in a really long time. When Kingzone got the start against the 10th place team, we said, let's opt into the Fiesta. Let's actually see Kingzone flex on a team rather than always dotting every I, crossing every T, and trying to tutorial victory. Because tutorial victories don't happen on the international stage as reliably as they do in scenarios like this. It's good to see them flex their muscles, smash BBQ Olivers, and potentially roll on a very early night of LCK action.
That was really quick. It was domination. Who was the one death, actually? I forgot about that. I think that would be the only thing that takes the perfect game away from Kingzone.
Believe it was. There was 3 Rift Scuttles, but apart from that, just a single kill. I also don't remember Valdez, so I guess someone...
Oh, it was Khan in the top side.
Yes, okay, yeah. He did actually trade. You're right. Gragas went down once. You know, didn't end up being the most consequential. Kingzone DragonX, straightforward victory. No one on BBQ was shedding any tears. They probably had a feeling this would be a rough night for them.
Yep, coach is there for Crazy, but that's about all he's got right now. We'll see if he can pull it back together for game 2 after a quick commercial break.
학교 다닐 때 7번이었는데 문우찬. 왜 7번인 거지? 여기 7번. 왜 번수가 어떻게 했는데 너가 7번이? 하나더라고. 어릴 때는 키순이었잖아. 그거는 형 너무 옛날이에요. 아, 그래? 미안하다. 형 너 국민학교 때고. 저희랑 좀 세대 차이 나네. 저희라고 하지 마. 나도 그랬어.
아, 야, 우리는 키순이었는데 아쉽네.
나도 키순이었습니다.
너 뭐 했길래 코 빨갛냐? 근데 뭐 벌써 했냐?
저요? 몰라요. 저 심하셨나봐요.
크리스마스 아니야.
아이고. 누구보다 빨갛게 남들가는. 어우, 범은이요. 저 생각나서 그래요. 우찬이가.
거기 뭐라 그래.
긴급 정보는 하나 얻었어.
뭐
하루가 핫도그 사 먹으러 갔어. 진짜?
뭐 말이 되나 이게?
말 안 되지.
야 말해봐.
조금해.
너 말해보라고.
아 말하고 있다고.
너 조그마다고.
형이 또 조금하다고.
네가 더 조그마거든.
형이 더 조금하거든.
말해봐. 야,
야
나 돌리고 있다고.
똑같다.
왜 똑같은데 돌리고 있는데?
나도 돌리고 있다고.
아,
똑같냐고.
나는
너
너 불어 했냐?
아니 형도.
할만한데? 여기 서포터가 없어 그래. 서포터가 있으면 형저 수강 받고 골로 간다고.
그지? 그러겠지? 서포트하고 같이 이제 때리면.
근데 우리는 서포터 있잖아.
형네 서포트는 허접일 거야.
우리 서포터 허접이냐? 영하나 볼렛 조조. 아우 소리.
형, 상승이다.
노답임.
네, 바로 보내드린다. 말씀해 주시는데. 이기고 있어.
지금 반났어요. 안 닿아요 저. 닿는데요 저? 뭐요? 그 반대쪽으로 하면 안 되는데. 양쪽 다 돼? 여기는? 나 양쪽 게 다. 아, 다 반대쪽 집이네.
여기가 집었어요. 집이네. 형은요?
택도 없어. 너랑 비슷해. 안 돼, 안 돼.
저는 어디 가셨나요?
아 지금 화장실에서
똥 싸고 있어?
네. 이러면은 다운셋 되게 여러분들 시간 되게 촉박해지는데 밀리면
명 때문에.
갑자기 떠올랐다. 혁기도 보내줘야 되는 거 아니야? 혁기는 저 처음 챌린저 찍을 수 있었을 때 한판 남았는데 혁기가 애쉬로 트롤에서 탑 1차 도망갔어. 같이 바텀 지었는데 저 남이 하고 있었는데 아 이거 답 없음 이러면서 모빌 신고 애쉬로 그냥 탑 1차 따고 들어갔어. 시작이 시작했다. 남이에서 끝났어요. 어? 뭐가 아닌데 탑을 왜 도망가는데 모빌 신고. 남이니까 바텀에 그때 화나가지고 잠 못 자고 새벽까지 새벽도 10연패 했잖아 진짜로. 바텀에 러시랑이 있는데 아니요. 껌 어딨어 껌? 형이요? 껌 어딨어? 여기 있어요. 우리 써야 돼요 지금. 아 그래? 빨리 빨리 껌 맞춰야 된다. 나껌 하나. 몇 개씩 찍어? 나 지금. 내 물어본 건데.